What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 14.
Millionaire Maker. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
Okay guys, this is for the Millionaire Maker slate, which is the Sunday main slate at 1 p.m. Oh, and stick around to the very end of this video. After I show you all my picks in the Draft Dashboard tools, I'll show you these players in DraftKings and in FanDuel, the Millionaire Maker slates. There'll be 2 spots open that you'll have to fill in, but you'll have a great Millionaire Maker core.
Okay guys, NFL Week 14. Let's take a look at the quarterback position. My Millionaire Maker quarterback is Justin Herbert from the LA Chargers playing the Atlanta Falcons, who have the 6th worst defense overall, and they give up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Justin Herbert has averaged 24.3 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 3.7 rush attempts per game. Now, he only scored 6 fantasy points last game. They were shut out by the New England Patriots, but he scored 20 and 31 fantasy points in the games before that, projected at 21.8 fantasy points here in Week 14. He's only going to be about 2% owned. People are going to look at that score last week and shy away from Justin Herbert, even though he's got a fantastic matchup here versus the Atlanta Falcons. And Vegas thinks there's going to be 49.5 points scored in this game, and they have the Chargers trailing by 2.5. So a close, competitive game, high scoring, great matchup, bounce back game, low ownership. So I like Justin Herbert here versus the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. My Millionaire Maker running back is Wayne Gallman from the New York Giants playing the Arizona Cardinals, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they're middle-of-the-pack defending opposing running backs. Wayne Gallman has averaged 10.2 fantasy points per game on the season, but he scored 17, 18, and 19 fantasy points in the last 3 games off of 16, 24, and 18 rush attempts. He's going to be about 9% owned, projected at 12.5 fantasy points here in Week 14, and he's only $5,700 DraftKings salary and $300 more on FanDuel. So I like that FanDuel price. Vegas thinks there's going to be 45.5 points scored in this game, with the Giants trailing by 3. So you got a decent matchup here. A guy that's getting a ton of rushing volume, and he's been productive the past few games. His ownership has come up the past few weeks, but his price is still pretty low. So I like Wayne Gallman here versus the Arizona Cardinals.
Real quick guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all the tools for NFL. NBA is right around the corner. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. My Millionaire Maker wide receiver is Corey Davis from the Tennessee Titans playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have the worst defense overall, and they give up the 4th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Corey Davis has averaged 16.9 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 7 pass targets per game. He scored 38, 10, and 19 fantasy points in the last 3 games. he is going to be about 13% owned, projected at 15.2 fantasy points here in week 14, but he's still only 5,700 DraftKings salary and 1,100 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 52.5 points scored in this game, with the Titans favored by 7. Fantastic matchup, high scoring game. So I like Corey Davis here versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay, moving on to the tight end position. My millionaire maker tight end is Hunter Henry from the LA Chargers, playing the Atlanta Falcons, who have the 6th worst defense overall, and they give up the 4th most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Hunter Henry has averaged 9.8 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 6.5 pass targets per game. He's going to be about 3% owned, projected at 10.9 fantasy points here in week 14, and he's 4,400 DraftKings salary and 1,200 more on FanDuel. So we know Vegas thinks there's going to be 49.5 points scored in this game, with the Chargers trailing by 2.5. Great matchup here, and this is definitely a bounce back game for the Chargers. So we're going to stack Hunter Henry with Justin Herbert, and you can even stack Keenan Allen in there if you want. So I like Hunter Henry here versus the Atlanta Falcons.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video.
You've unlocked the bonus content.
Okay guys, here we are in the DraftKings lineup optimizer. Over on Draft Dashboard, we have our Millionaire Maker core locked in, and we've generated a lineup. So let's see who we got. We got Justin Herbert, James Robinson, Wayne Gallman, Darnell Mooney, Corey Davis, Tyler Boyd, Hunter Henry, Keenan Allen, and the Saints defense. So what I like about this Millionaire Maker core this week is we got plenty of money left over to fill in a stud running back, another stud wide receiver, and a couple more value plays here. So James Robinson, he's going to be about 19% owned. And then in this lineup, we're doing the double stack with Hunter Henry and Keenan Allen stacked with Justin Herbert versus that bad Atlanta Falcons defense in this bounce back game here. So I think this is a pretty solid lineup. So I'm going to save this lineup so I can optimize it later. Okay, now here we are in the FanDuel lineup optimizer. Over here on Draft Dashboard, we have our Millionaire Maker core locked in here. So we've generated a lineup. Let's see who we got. We got Justin Herbert, Aaron Jones, Wayne Gallman, Allen Robinson, Mike Evans, Corey Davis, Hunter Henry, Marvin Jones Jr., and the Washington football team. So I think I like this lineup even a little more than the DraftKings lineup. I love Aaron Jones here versus the Detroit Lions. And then we got Marvin Jones Jr. on the other side of the ball. We got Hunter Henry and Justin Herbert stacked with Mike Evans, Allen Robinson, and the Washington football team versus the San Francisco 49ers. So I like this lineup. I'm going to save it so I can optimize it later.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NFL slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.